So my buddy told me a story once about how he was talking to this fishing guide, some full-time dude in Florida, I think, and he asked him how he deals with a tough day on the water, like not putting many fish in the boat. Guide says something like, well, I'm confident in my abilities, so if I'm getting my butt kicked out there, pretty sure everyone else is too, so I don't feel too bad about it. I think about that a lot.
Hey, I'm Ben. I'm a huge fly fisherman.
Welcome back to another Huge Fly Fisherman video. Before we jump into all this redfish stuff, I just want to remind you, you can go to my website, hugeflyfisherman.com, and get all kinds of Huge Fly Fisherman stuff and fly fishing stuff. Also, you can check out my other channel at special.tv, where you can get video stuff that you can't get here on YouTube. This video is about an annual fly fishing trip that I do together with a bunch of friends. It's called the GUMBOPSICLE. Yes, that is a weird word. It's called the GUMBOPSICLE because one time somebody thought it would be a good idea to freeze a cup of gumbo, put a stick or maybe even some hemostats in it, and enjoy it as a popsicle the next day. Yes, that was late at night after many adult beverages, and yes, it was a terrible idea. Not recommended. This is a redfish trip for the most part, and every year we do it in Louisiana. I don't think that's hot spotting. There's a lot of marsh out there. It's always a blast. We eat really good food, we hang out with great friends, we go for boat rides and catch some fish. A lot of times something weird or crazy happens and it gives us a good story to tell people when we get home. At this year's GUMBOPSICLE, we had 14 dudes and 6 boats. It was a party. One twist to this year's GUMBOPSICLE for me personally was I got to achieve my goal of catching a redfish on a woolly bugger. Not a big deal, just something I've wanted to do for a while. I took exactly one fly with me on this trip, this one right here. But when I got there, my buddy Corey handed me 2 redfish woolly buggers, so that's what I fished the entire time. Thanks, Corey. We've been doing the GUMBOPSICLE for like 7 or 8 years now, and we've had good weather, good fishing, bad fishing. We've had to make last minute adjustments because of hurricanes a couple times, and this year was one of those times. On this trip, the weather was great, the fishing not so much. I'm not gonna make excuses, but there are several reasons why the fishing was not good. Maybe number one is that we were in an area we didn't know well or at all. We didn't have our go-to spots. We were pretty much exploring the whole time, which involves striking out sometimes. Another thing we had working against us was water. There was just a lot of it. We're trying to sight fish in water that isn't always clear. A foot of water is great, but it's tough to sight fish in 4 feet of dirty water. So that was an issue. Another thing that didn't help is there just didn't seem to be many fish around. We didn't see many redfish at all, and we saw very few bull redfish. Meanwhile, the guys offshore were seeing the biggest schools of redfish that they've ever seen. So that's a clue. It's tough to catch them if they aren't there. You know, I don't think I saw a black drum the whole time, and we usually see a bunch. Everyone we talked to was telling the same story. It just wasn't a great week to be there. Yeah, we were catching some fish, but we weren't really banging it up out there. But hey, at least it wasn't snowing. Okay, anyway, let's dive into this. 4 days of fishing. We'll start off on day 1. It's me and Mike, and we're on Mike's boat. Mike flew in with me from the Rocky Mountains, and other Mike lives down there, which is why he has a skiff. So Mike was looking for his first redfish. He's a total noob with all of this. We weren't seeing much in the morning, and then we found one creek with a bunch of fish in it. Mike promptly trout set one fish and then broke another fish off, which is totally appropriate for a trout guy, his first time red fishing. We definitely made fun of him for it. I hooked and lost a good fish. That fish actually ate my fly twice, and I still failed to land it. Then we saw a bunch of fish that didn't really want to play. They were acting a little mopey or skittish. At the end of the day, we just ended up messing around. Mike tried pulling the boat for his first time. It went about as well as you would think. Mike was playing with the drone, getting some sick footy, and he fell out of the boat when he was trying to land his drone on the deck. I made an entire video about that. I could watch it on an endless loop, I swear. Mike was a pretty good sport about the whole thing. He laughed it off. He didn't even change clothes. He just air dried for a while. We actually fished another shoreline after that and picked up some balloons out of the marsh before we called it quits. So next is day 2. Ron called dibs on fishing me and Max that day. Ron is pretty much my mentor of all things redfish, and Max is a friend of ours. Max is 14 years old and he's a better fisherman than you. That's all you need to know. Day 2 started off with muddy water and lots of wind, an excellent combination. That was sarcasm. We went on an epic journey through heavy seas and managed to lose our push pole and then had to turn around and find it. We did actually recover it, which I was pretty surprised about. Later on, the W laid down, which was nice, but then the no-see-ums came out. The fishing was still not good. Eventually, Max hooked a good fish and instantly broke it off. I sat in the middle of the boat and shot a video about losing fish, so that was appropriate. After I shot my video, I got up on the bow for a little while, and what happened was pretty cool.
Here's another one. He stopped. Gar? I don't know. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, back up, back up.
Okay. Just want to get a close up of the fish.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Okay, it's a redfish. They do exist.
It might be a little jankety.
Man, it has been a rough couple of days. Oh my God, it's got your fly in its mouth, dude. It has your fly in its mouth. Look at that, look at that. See that?
Yeah.
We got it. No way, dude. No
Still on GoPro.
way. Oh, yes. That is the second time we've done that, Ron.
You avenged me.
All right. Look at that. That's the fish that Max hooked and lost. 2 flies. Max, I would like to give you your fly back.
I will. I'll hold it forever dear.
I bequeath to you your fly, sir.
Thank you.
All right, and that is something that I've been chasing for a while. It is a redfish on a woolly bugger.
What are you gonna name him?
Probably Herman, I think.
What about Ben Jr.?
Ben Jr.? I don't know. I like
Benjamin.
Herman.
That's not the fish's day today.
Hey, Ron, is this a ceviche fish or not so much?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking it might be.
Yeah, it can be. Okay. All right, we're gonna legally harvest this fish and make some ceviche because that's okay. And I mean, it's fishing. Occasionally that happens.
Yeah.
All right. This is where the release shot happens. Into the cooler.
So yeah, a couple years ago, something similar happened to us at the GUMBOPSICLE. Max's dad actually caught a slot redfish with another fly in its mouth. We had a suspicion we knew whose fly that was and were able to confirm it and return the fly to its original owner after recovering it from a fish in the Atlantic Ocean. I made a video about the whole thing. That time, the fish was caught the second time about a quarter-mile away from where it was caught the first time, and 8 days later. This time, I caught Max's fish about an hour later and about 100 feet away from where he hooked it. Fishing, man. It's cool sometimes. And redfish ceviche is really good, by the way. All right, next day, day 3. We've been waking up early, driving far, making long runs in the boat with not a lot to show for it. On day 3, some of us decided to stay closer, not run as far, and just have kind of a chill day. I went out with my buddy Brett and his beaver tail. We fished a lot of nice water. We saw a few fish. I think I had one eat. It was fun. I like hanging out with Brett, but honestly, the highlight of the day was picking up more balloons out of the water. Just trying to earn that fish karma. We went out for fancy dinner that night. I think I'm still full. All right, 4th day, the last day. It was a half day because we all had to head out that afternoon. It's me and Mike and Ron's waterman. We had good conditions to make a long run out to some islands that we hadn't fished yet, but we would only have a few hours to fish. We found one good bank bank that was holding some quality fish, but they weren't really playing nice for Mike. I got up on the bow and got lucky pretty quickly with a shot at 7 o'clock, which is behind the boat.
Missed the eat because I'm a professional camera operator. Got a big fish on. Over that.
So when you have to go around the guy on the platform, always go over him. Don't try to make the guy on the platform.
Like I did to you the other day.
You're going to get one of us dunked in the drink.
Or break a rod or... Oh yeah. Oh, it feels good.
Going on a run there, baby.
As always, he's getting bigger by the boat. They do.
Yeah. Trout get smaller when you bring them in, you know?
Right.
Oh yeah! Oh, it feels good. Hey, oh yeah. Okay, yeah, he's not 20, but it's a good fish. Yes. Oh man, that's the dopamine. That's the dopamine right now.
It's dope.
That's I can feel it.
It's warmed up, he did.
Yeah, my heart is beating. I'm tingling. Only took 4 days. I'll take a high five. Woo! Look at that, Mikey.
That's the way you're supposed to do it.
Corey's woolly bugger strikes again.
Reds on woolly buggers.
Redfish on woolly buggers. That's the video title right there. He's doing what's called bulldogging. Hold on, let me put my purse down.
Cool, Sally.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yep.
Swing him.
Yeah. Thank you, Ron.
There you go, buddy. That's in that 15-16 range, buddy.
Okay. All right. Hey, I'm Ben. I'm a huge fly fisherman. All right.
That's a huge redfish.
All right. How big, Ron? 15, 16?
15-16.
Yeah. Thank you, Ron.
Ron does it again.
Franklin. His name's Franklin.
Franklin?
All right. Okay, Franklin, thank you for playing. I've been waiting to hang out with you all week.
The bigger fish, these bigger offshore fish, they get that angular hard look. It's really neat. They start looking like a different animal.
You want this under the water at all?
Under the boat.
That was cool.
So that was fun, ended up being my best fish of the trip. After that we pulled some more shorelines, but it wasn't really happening for us. So we ran back to the ramp, went to the airport, and flew home. And that was a wrap for GUMBOPSICLE 2021. Not gonna analyze it too much. I went on a fishing trip and had a great time, and I can't wait to do it again next year. These annual trips are awesome. It's like getting the band back together again, you know? I'm sure a lot of you guys have your own annual trips that you do. Leave a comment down below and tell me about your annual fishing trip. Maybe I'll crash the party. I'll be back as soon as I can with another huge fly fisherman video for you. Until then, go pick up some balloons out of the marsh or any trash that you see, and stay huge. So after that trip, all the people I talked to said the day after we left, the fishing got really good. Because, of course, right?